Today is a very big day. We're going to make a lot of headway. We're actually going to fix the engine problem. What's up everyone, my name is Daryl and again I am working on my Suzuki Intruder 125cc, and today is a very exciting day because the past 3 videos have been all about cleaning and kind of figuring out what the problem with the bike was, and today we are going to make leaps and bounds at fixing that problem as we now solder the 2 pieces of metal that need to join up. I'm looking forward to it. I've got the tools out. I've got my list of things to do. We have the cover off the bike. She's all ready to go. Tools all laid out down there. We'll go through what I'm using as I'm using it when I'm doing it. And hopefully by the end of today, we more or less have this issue fixed. And we can move on to actually getting her started and then having fun doing all the nice bits. I'm actually thinking about doing a spray job on some parts of this engine. So I'm looking forward to that. But like I said, today is a very big day. We're gonna make a lot of headway. We're actually gonna fix the engine problem. And I'm gonna talk about a new issue that I knew about before, but I'm gonna try and deal with today as well. All right, let's get into it. So quick recap, if you remember last time, it was this piece of metal that had fallen off the bike, and I have just given that a final clean now. And we are going to be joining it to this area of the bike here. Cheers. Well, it's a coffee, but you know, same principle applies. Oh my gosh, this coffee is brilliant. Me and Serena like our coffee and we try and buy a different one each time. And the one we've got right now is this Brazilian Brazilian coffee, which I suggested because I remember the last time I was in Brazil, I was in Rio, and after a long flight, the next morning I had breakfast, and when I tasted the coffee, I thought it was the best coffee I had ever drank in my life. So we went for this Brazilian mix, and it is honestly the best smelling, nicest tasting coffee I've drank in a long while. So anyway, moving on. We are now at the stage where we're about to solder on the loose piece of metal to the engine, and to fix the problem of being on my own, having one pair of hands, I have used my miniature vise to hold the piece of metal I'm connecting to the engine onto the engine in such a weird kind of mechanical way that I'm actually quite proud of it. So yeah, this is what it looks like. And what we're going to do is we're just going to have a coffee now. We're going to go through the process of tinning the soldering iron kit that I bought. Tinning is where you prepare the head of the soldering iron with some of the solder you've got to kind of coat it in a way, and that's what I'm going to do before I solder the piece onto the bike. I'm actually quite nervous about this bit. I'm not nervous in the sense that I'm shaking. I'm just nervous that this is the first time I've ever done this. I don't want anything to go wrong. Anyway, I have an idea of what it should look like when it's finished, which is a line of solder around the two pieces, which I'll then use my other tools to smoothen down, sand down, and create a near perfect bond between the two. And then I'm just hoping that that's that problem fixed. I'm hoping I won't need to go around it with the aluminium putty that I've got. But we'll have to see. I just want to make sure that I get this part of the process done properly, because if it's done properly and if it's done the way I think, then that will be the problem fixed forever. So that's next. Okay, so I've hit an issue actually, and the issue is that the soldering iron doesn't actually melt aluminium, and as far as I'm aware, I believe that both metals need to melt in order for the solder to bond. It's melting the solder, but it isn't bonding it with the aluminium. So when it melts, it just sits on top of the surface of the aluminium. It's like that scene in Terminator 2 where the bad Terminator's metal moves around the floor in a liquid form. That's exactly how the solder is behaving on top of the aluminium, so it's not sticking. I don't know what to do at this stage. That was kind of like my my one shot at fixing this, as far as I'm aware. I honestly don't know what to do. If you can hear that. See, there's a bit of solder there in my hand, which is hardened now. And basically what it's doing is it's melting, it's sitting on top of the aluminium, and then it's hardening. So it's not actually bonding. Right, so I've come up here to the garden, and I am actually deflated. I'm really gutted. I had in my head that that would be the solution to the problem. It would be the fix. The solder is not sticking to the aluminium, and I don't know why. I'm gonna have to probably Google that and see if there's anything I've done wrong before I move on, because otherwise the solution that I've got is to apply this metal epoxy putty, which is easy to use, steel reinforced. It sets underwater and it goes steel hard in 10 minutes. Now, what I didn't want to do is just apply this around the area which I was fixing and hope it bonds and then hope it creates a seal, because it looks like that's how the person fixed it before, and as we know, I'm fixing it now so it doesn't last. If I apply enough of this around the area that needs to be joined, I can then sand away at it and create a smooth bond between the two pieces of metal. I'm a bit anxious now, because what if this doesn't stick to the metal either? I'm gutted. I'm thinking I have to go with this solution now, and if it works even for the short term, a year or two, then that's enough time for me to fix the problem properly in the future. But I do want to get riding on the bike, I do want to get this fixed, but I am gutted. Hard and fast metal epoxy resin. I think I'm gonna have to go for this. All right, I'm gonna read through on this quickly, and I'm gonna see if this is absolutely the last chance saloon for me. All right, in a bit. Okay, so what we've done is we've actually gone full circle and we have applied the metal epoxy resin to the bike, which actually leaves us in the same position we were when we started. It's the same fix that was on the problem from the beginning. So here we go. Right there where my finger is the attached piece of metal. I'm going to flip the camera around so you can see that nice and clear. And there you have it. I'm going to put a picture up on the screen of what it actually looked like before, and you'll see that it is pretty similar. So that needs to stay on there for about an hour. It hardens within about 10 minutes, and then it needs to stay on for about an hour until it's fully cured. Am I happy with it? I mean, it's not the most beautiful of fixes. It's I don't know how long it was on the bike before I got the bike and noticed the problem. Now, I rode this bike for about an entire year, every single day. It was my daily commuter. I don't know how long it was there for in the beginning. I don't know how long this fix will last. I'm hoping that it will last now for the foreseeable future. What I'm not going to do now is I'm not going to put a bolt through that bolt hole there, because what it actually is there for, right, it's only there to attach this cover to that area of the bike. So the hole where my thumb is goes right through to the area we have fixed, and it is only there to serve the purpose of holding that cover onto the bike. So I don't think I'm going to use that bolt hole now to do that, because it's a plastic cover. It doesn't weigh anything at all, and there are 2 other bolt holes with bolts that attach that to the bike, which will do a good enough job to hold it on. The main issue was always that behind that piece of metal that I've just attached to the bike, there is a hole that goes right through to the oil in the engine, and as long as there's a hole there letting in air, the engine oil pressure will never be up to what it needs to operate the bike properly. So the solution was always just to block that hole with the original part on the bike. It does look ugly, but what I'm going to do is, when that's fully cured, I'm going to sand it down and just make it a bit neater, a bit tidier, and then that is that done. That is one thing checked off the to-do list. Now, because that's going to take a long time, and I don't really want to, I don't really want to interrupt the bike as it is now, I'm going to leave that for the day. We still have a few more things on the to-do list, one of which is underneath the engine sump, to drill a new hole where the threads have been threaded on the original bolt, and make a new hole for a new bolt. And then that would be the end of the engine problems. We can then move on to new spark plugs, new engine oil, empty the tank, put new petrol in, charge up the battery, and see if she'll start. But yeah, that's it for today. Gutted about the soldering thing. I'm going to have to look into why that didn't work, and like I said, come back to just tidy that up a little bit more for my own well-being. It's probably good the way it is, but like I said, just for my own well-being, to know that that is gonna hold and be fine. All right, thanks for watching. If you have any kind of input into what I've done, maybe how I can do it better, this is the time that I really need this YouTube community to come to my aid and help me out. Maybe show me something you've done before on your bikes, because like I've said before time and time again, I'm doing this first time basically how I think it should be done. I'm not a mechanic. I'm doing it with a basic premise of problem, solution. I'm just trying to fix it. Anyway, that's that. I'm going to leave it there today. Thanks for watching. I know it's moving slowly, but hopefully every time you log on and watch these videos, you do see something that I've got up to that you find interesting. And I can promise you, on the next episode, we will be doing something brand new. Right. Okay, I'm going to leave it there. Thanks for watching. I will see you in a bit.